Well, let's start off for now with the latest coming in from Sri Lanka, where the president, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, has agreed to form an interim all-party government. The president is yet to issue an official statement, but local media reports claiming that the president, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, has agreed to form an interim government with a new prime minister and cabinet. This is a big development if confirmed, as Mahinda Rajapaksa, who is the current prime minister, is also Gotabaya's elder brother. According to Lankan media, the new government will reportedly represent all political parties in the parliament. The remarks were made by the Sri Lanka Freedom Party chairman while he addressed a briefing following a meeting with the president and the 11 independent political parties. The appointment of a new prime minister and the cabinet of ministers of this interim government will be assigned to a national assembly consisting of the leaders of all political parties. Let's go straight across now to our correspondent, Dasuni, who's with us from Colombo, tracking the very latest. Dasuni, take us through the very latest that you're gathering at this point as far as this all-party meeting is concerned. What have been the key takeaways and what shape will this interim government really be taking?
Yes, Molly. Well, this is a story that we just received a couple of moments ago. So everyone is still trying to gather as to how best this story will be developing forward. But what we know so far is that following this meeting, which took place today with the president, now keep in mind this meeting was only carried out with members of parliament who were in the government. The opposition was not a part of today's meeting with the president. And it was only following that meeting that the chairman of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, who is also the former president of Sri Lanka, Maithripala Sirisena, who clearly stated that President has in fact agreed for the formation of an interim party government, provided that the Prime Minister as well as the newly appointed cabinet steps down. So it will be interesting to really see an official statement come about in this regard, especially from the President, and also the responses and the reactions which we are certainly expecting from the opposition, and also just as important as the president's confirmation is the prime minister's response to this as well, Molly.
Dasuni, you've been speaking to the protesters on the ground who have been demanding that the Rajapaksas must step down. Now, speaking of this composition of the government, of course, we are waiting for the details on that front. But the shape that we have been talking about all this while, the protesters, would you say that this would end up pacifying them, if at all?
Well, what's really interesting to see is that for the past few days, the main slogan of these protests have been Gota, go home, or go home, Gota, which means it is a clear call for the president to step down. However, the latest development right now is where the president is sort of attempting to make the prime minister leave his seat. So it's really sort of still a question for the public as to whether this is going to pacify them, given that the main call from the people over the past few weeks have clearly been for the president to step down.
We're leaving it there for the moment, Dasuni. Thanks very much for joining us on the broadcast with those updates for now. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.